Hi students, good morning. I hope all of you fine and safe. Today we are starting our first online class. Are you okay? In the last class we discussed about nationalism, the origin and spread of nationalism, and also the role of Napoleon in the spread of nationalism. Today we are discussing about the making of nationalism in Europe. It is our second chapter, second part. This chapter mainly discusses about the origin of new aristocracy, aim and objectives of liberal nationalism, conservatism developed after 1815, and the revolutionaries. In the 17th and 18th centuries, there were no nation states like that of today's Germany, Italy, Switzerland, etc. It was not yet divided. Therefore, Eastern and Central Europe included a lot of aristocratic monarchies and a lot of diverse peoples. So, among them, there is no common identity. They have no common language and even no common culture. During that period, the waves of nationalism spread into Europe. The root cause was French nationalism. Aristocratic peoples are the more prominent classes in that continent. These peoples were united through their common way of life. They have their own estates and townhouses. They were even engaged in the bond of marriage. But the majority of people were tenants, peasants, and small owners. Therefore, in Central and Eastern Europe, the vast estate was cultivated by peasants. But in the western part of Europe, we have to see the growth of industries and trade, especially in England. In England, industrialization occurred in the half of the 18th century, and is therefore there emerged new group of aristocracy. It includes the working class, industrialists, businessmen, and professionals. But in Central and Eastern Europe, it was only for the namesake until 19th century. While analyzing nationalism deeply, the motto of nationalism was liberty, equality, and fraternity. So it is very must to analyze the importance of liberal nationalism. In the early 19th century, nationalism was deeply related with the idea of liberty. The term liberalism derived from the Latin word liber, which means free. Therefore, liberalism means freedom and equality of all. Politically, it was related with the government. For example, the changes occurred after the French Revolution. Equality also stressed the equal consideration before law. During that time, equality never reached into the word universal suffrage. Suffrage means the right to vote for all. The Napoleonic Code also excluded women and non-propertied men from executing suffrage. Economically, liberalism demanded the freedom of markets. After the defeat of Napoleon in 1815, a new political philosophy developed, that is, conservatism. It was a political philosophy that stressed on the importance of tradition, established institutions, and customs. It also preferred gradual development to change. As part of that, they would like to re-establish the traditional institutions of state and society. Even though they did not purpose a complete return to the old systems of society. But They compelled to bring a change in the changes brought by Napoleon. As a result, in 1815, the representatives of the following European powers, that is, the Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Austria, who had collectively defeated Napoleon, met up at Vienna to draw a new settlement pattern for Europe. This congress was hosted by the Austrian Chancellor Duke Metternich. They drew up the Treaty of Vienna of 1815 with the object of undoing most of the changes that had came in the Europe during the Napoleonic War. Their main intention was to restore the monarchies that had been overthrown by Napoleon. After 1815, a fear of repression emerged among revolutionaries, so they formed secret societies to spread their duties. One of such a revolutionary individual was Giuseppe Mazzini. He was born in Geneva in 1807. He became a member of the secret society of Carbonari. He founded two more secret societies. One was Young Italy in Marseilles and another was Young Europe in Bern. He went into exile in 1837 for attempting a revolution in Liguria. Mazzini believed that God had intended nations to be the natural unit of mankind. He also wished the unification of Italy. Metternich described him as the most dangerous enemy of our social order. And Mazzini was the first person who wished and who tried hard for the unification of Italy. Now our chapter is over. I hope all of you understood the chapter very well. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.